What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacqueline, for those of you that do not know, and this is Emme. Hey. Today we're going to be doing the best books that I read in 2019, because a couple days ago we did the worst, now we're doing the best. So this is going to be a much longer video because I have 11 books to talk about. So if you are interested in seeing what I have to say, please keep watching. Okay, so really quickly, can we talk about my nails? Like, they're so cute. I got snowflakes. That was unnecessary, but first things first, make sure to subscribe. And let's just jump right in because we have a lot to talk about. Okay, the first book that I'm going to be talking about that I read in 2019 that I thought was the best was The Death of Mrs.Westaway by Ruth Ware. I'm aware that this came out last year in 2018. However, I did read it this month and I absolutely loved it. This is about this girl named Hal, who is pretty much an orphan. Her mom died a couple years ago in a car crash, and her mom's parents died when her mom was young, or so she thought, until she receives an invitation to a funeral for her grandmother. And it does say that there will be some inheritance, and they'll talk about that after the funeral. Hal knows this is not her real grandmother, but she's struggling and she doesn't mind taking a little bit of money because she figures they have so much anyway. So then everything goes crazy, and there's people being murdered. There's this mystery of Hal and who she came from and who her mother really is. I don't know if that's a spoiler. And if her mother was ever knew this family. Next, I have Hunted by Megan Spooner. This is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and I absolutely love this. Beauty and the Beast has recently become one of my favorite fairy tales, and so this just like hit right on the nose for me. Next, I have Lock Every Doorway by Riley Sager. This was the first ever book I read by him. Those two books. This was the first ever book I read by him, and I absolutely loved it. This is about a girl who just recently lost her job. She just recently broke up with her boyfriend, who she was living with, so she doesn't have anywhere to stay. And I need to slow down. And she gets this amazing opportunity to house sit in this very mysterious building called the Bartholomew. And but there are certain rules to living in this place. You can't spend the night out, obviously. You can't have people over to visit. You can't have people sleep over. And most importantly, you're not allowed to talk to any other residents. She does break some of these rules, and she ends up becoming friends with another house sitter that lives there, but then the other house sitter disappears after telling her that she gets an eerie feeling in the Bartholomew. So then it turns into a mystery, and a lot of things are revealed, and this is absolutely amazing. I kind of cheated and I counted all these books as one because they're in the same trilogy. But next, I have the 3 books I read this year in the Harry Potter series. I have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is obviously the first book, and this is where he has to get the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the second book the Chamber of Secrets, which is where he meets Voldemort as like a teenager or whatever. And this is the one where Ginny messes up severely, and where we get introduced to Tom Riddle. And then this one is The Prisoner of Azkaban. This is where we meet Harry's godfather, and I love it. And this was my favorite book so far of the three, but I love them all. So definitely recommend. Next, I have Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is the backstory, or a fiction revolved around the backstory of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of a retelling, I guess. And I absolutely love this one. And I was very enthralled. We see her when she first meets the Mad Hatter. We see the cat, the crazy cat, whatever his name is. He plays a big role in this. She sets her first ever off with her head, and it's the last line of the book, and I literally lost my shit. Like, I'm about to show you guys. I'm about to show y'all. Right here. She says, off with his head. And we kind of see how she was just a normal, kind, spirited girl, and how she turned into one of the villains. So I love this. Next we have Love Looks Pretty on You by Lang Leave. And this is a poetry book, and this book was just amazing. When I was reading this was all that was on my like Instagram story, was the poems in here. It was just so good. She talks about love. She talks about finding oneself and finding love internally. She talks about just so many things, and I think everybody should read this book. Next, we have Don't Tempt Me by Lori Foster. This is a slightly smutty romance between Jason Guthrie and what's the main girl's name? Honor. And Honor Brown. Honor just recently bought this home to fix up, and her neighbor is Jason Guthrie. He automatically decides he doesn't like her because she seems like the kind to ask for help or whatever, and he wasn't looking for another project, this and that. But little does he know, Honor is actually the type not to ask for help and to do it for herself. They become friendly because his brother and nephew also live with him, because his brother is just recently going through a tragedy, and they're both very friendly and neighborly, so he is also like turned friendly, neighborly, and they all become really close, and then Honor and him fall in love. And yeah. Next, we have On the Corner of Bitter and Sweet. This is one of my favorite books of all time. This is a historical fiction, and it is basically about Henry, who is Chinese. It takes place during World War II. It's Henry, who is Chinese, and he ends up falling in love with a Japanese girl. He's young. He's like in grade school. And he ends up falling in love with this Japanese girl. Next, we have Fire by Kristen Cashore. I don't have a dust jacket, but This is actually the second book in a trilogy, but you can definitely read this on your own, on its own, without reading the first or third book. And I feel like this is the best in the whole trilogy. Next, I have With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. And I have a whole book on this, a whole video on this, which I will actually post in the cards. I'm really bad about doing the cards, but I'm going to do the card here. And I'm going to post it up in the cards, which is just basically like 10 reasons why you should read this. So all the reasons I love this book will be in that video. And another, the last book is also a trilogy, so I kind of cheated yet again, and it is the Crossfire series, which is Bared to You, Reflected in You, Intertwined in You, Reflected in You. Did I already say that one? I'm not going in order, which is why I'm kind of like, but it's Bared to You, Entwined in You. I should probably look this up. Bared to You, Entwined in You, Reflected in You, some other one, and One with You. It's a whole trilogy. Editing Jackie here. It's not a trilogy, and I keep calling it that. It's a series, and it's Bared to You, Captured by You, Entwined in You, Reflected in You, and One with You. That's it. Thanks. It's very smutty. I absolutely love it. I've talked about it so many times on my channel because it is my all-time favorite book series. So that's another one that you should read. And those are the best books that I have read in 2019. Oh, and also another one that I also do not have is The Two Family House. I did talk about it in my November / October wrap up, which I will put in the cards also up above. I don't have it with me because I keep letting out my bugs. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. That's all the books. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much to everybody who's subscribing and commenting and liking and sharing my videos. I really appreciate the support, and thank you. That's all I have to say. Remember to subscribe, and remember to share this and any other video on my platform that you think your people will like. And remember to spread peace and positivity all day, every day, and it'll come back to you. And remember to keep reading, because I forgot to say that in my last one. Bye.